all the times I've been coming to Caesars Windsor, I had no idea that just a short 15-minute drive across the Detroit River was one of Caesars' biggest competitors. This is Daniel with Spotlight, and we're going to MGM Grand Detroit. So I just told one of the security guards at Caesars that we're actually going to be crossing the border to check out MGM Grand in Detroit. She said, you know what MGM stands for in Detroit? Might get mugged. Her word of caution was, be careful. I was already feeling a little bit nervous going over there just because I haven't been to Detroit in so long, and you do hear some horror stories. So yeah, definitely didn't need to hear that. So anyway, wish us luck. So we are currently in the tunnel underneath the Detroit River, driving from Windsor to Detroit. I didn't know we were going through the tunnel. I thought we were going over a bridge. But anyway, we did pay $6.75 to cross over. So make sure you've got credit or debit or something like that to do that. But yeah, this is kind of different. I'm kind of nervous still. So anyway, we'll see you in Detroit, hopefully. Cross your fingers. Okay, so we made it safely into MGM Detroit. Honestly, looking around so far, this place is actually really nice. I'm quite surprised. I sort of feel a bit like I'm in Vegas, minus the fact that it's cold and I'm wearing a sweater. But yeah, it actually feels very Vegas in here. I really do like it. Lots of restaurants in here. There's a food hall, there's a few things like that. We played Quickets for a while. Cody is fairly well in there. I didn't do so well, but that's all right. As long as somebody got something out of it. We're going to get something to eat, though, I think. We're getting a bit hungry and check out more. So they do have a food court here, but it looks like it's closed, I think, for some reason. But there is a Detroit Central Market, which is sort of like a food hall. So let's go check that out. It looks like it's open. Oh, 2 out of the 4 places at the food hall are closed too now. So we're going to try and go over to Tap and check it out and see what they've got there. Maybe get like a burger or something. Okay guys, we just got sat at Tap in MGM Grand Detroit. So I got myself a margarita, Cody got himself a old-fashioned. We're going to get some food and some apps and see how it is. We actually used a myvegas for here. You can actually get 1 free app with the purchase of a main meal for I think like 7,500 points or something like that. So I'm not that hungry, so I'm just going to get a app. Cody's going to get a main meal. We'll see how it is. Report back later. Okay guys, we just finished up our lunch here. I'm stuffed. I just had a nap and I'm absolutely stuffed. Cody got a Reuben. I got a shrimp quesadilla. It was not what I expected. There was so much shrimp in there, so much cheese. It was really, really good. All in all, the bill was pretty cheap too, because as I said, we used that myvegas reward, so my lunch was free. Cody's was maybe not even $20, and then our drinks and everything. Our bill was pretty cheap. So all in all, food was decent. A bit greasy, but I mean, what do you expect? It's a bar type environment. So anyway, all good. Yeah, not too bad. I would definitely recommend checking out Tap if you are at MGM Grand Detroit. Make sure you use that myvegas to get that discount on the app. Okay guys, we are back safely in Canada from Detroit. No, I'm just totally kidding. Yeah, the power perception is definitely real, and the power of influence and all that stuff, because I'm not gonna lie, I was already feeling a little bit, I don't say anxious, but maybe anxious about going over to Detroit. I haven't been there since I was a kid, and my brother was in a hockey tournament, I think, so I went along. Obviously the family went too, kind of thing. So I don't really remember a whole lot about Detroit, but then of course you hear a lot of horror stories, you hear a lot of negative things about it, but it did kind of go in my head. And then when that Caesars security person said that whole might get mugged or whatever she said, that definitely stuck in my mind a lot going over there. I was starting to think what are we doing, what are we getting ourselves into here? But quite honestly, it was a pretty good experience overall. So crossing over the border was pretty easy. We went under the tunnel, which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if it was busier especially, I'm a little claustrophobic, so when you're sort of under there, it's one lane either way, so that's a little bit awkward, especially if there's a bunch of cars in front of you. If there's a lot of traffic in there, I would probably die 1,000 deaths being stuck down there for that long under the water and everything. But as we were coming out, there was there were a few cars ahead of us, so whatever. But all in all, the border didn't take that long to cross over, and even the border people here, I found them to be a lot friendlier than the ones sometimes that you deal with in Niagara going into Buffalo. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it can be intimidating. Not all the time, but sometimes they can be a little intimidating. But this time around, honestly, very pleasant. Got to the casino, did the parking. We found a spot that was, again, close to the elevators, because, again, it's in my mind, like, something's gonna happen, might get mugged or whatever. It's in the back of my mind. So anyway, we parked near the elevators, went down to the casino, and instantly everybody was super, super nice, super friendly. There was a security guard who checked our IDs, and it was very pleasant. Yeah, everybody we dealt with, the rewards desk people, the people at the restaurants, anybody we spoke to was pretty nice and pleasant, and yeah, no issues there at all. The casino itself is actually really nice too. I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd seen a couple little videos and walkthroughs, things like that, so I had a pretty basic idea of what the room, what it was gonna look like in there, but it wasn't exactly what I was picturing, and it was actually quite nice. It actually reminded me a little bit of being in Vegas, to be honest with you, especially just being in an MGM casino, an MGM Grand. It's not obviously as grand as the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, but it was still pretty nice. There was a lot of restaurant choices, so we ate at Tap, which is sort of like a bar, but like pub food, basically burgers, I had a quesadilla, things like that, nachos. I had a margarita there, which was quite honestly way better than the margarita I had here at Caesars, I'm not gonna lie. The ones here, you can tell are definitely that pre-mix type of thing. The one there, maybe they're pre-mixed, but they tasted a lot better. The food was actually pretty good. A little salty, little heavy, a lot of cheese, but all in all, it was pretty good. I actually didn't mind what we ate there. It was not bad at all. There's I think a steakhouse there. There's a couple other restaurants there. They have a food court and a food hall beside each other. The food court was closed, which I thought was kind of strange, especially it's a Saturday. I would have thought that'd be one of their busier times. The food hall only had 2 out of the 4 restaurants open, so they have like Diablo's for like, tacos and stuff. That was open. There was an Asian restaurant as well that was also open, but their pizza place was closed, and there was one other one, a chicken place, which was also closed, which I was kind of surprised. Again, it being a weekend, I thought Saturday, prime opportunity. When we first got there, we got there around noon. Yeah, I'd say around noon. It was busy enough, but it definitely started to pick up while we were there, for sure. I definitely noticed a lot more people in there, and it started to get a little bit busier, and we didn't stay too long there. I had something I needed to take care of when we were there, so I got that sorted out. I had to do like a status thing here at MGM, but anyway, that got that all sorted out, had something to eat, and then I tried to do a little bit of filming in there, but quite honestly, when I'm in a casino or really public places, I don't really love to film too much, because the average person probably doesn't really want to be on camera, especially unexpectedly like that. Like, I try to do a few panning shots when I'm in places to kind of give people an idea of the surroundings and everything, but there's always going to be those people who get caught in those as well, and again, I'm sure, especially without being told in advance, they probably don't really want to be filmed. So yeah, I try not to do that too much, but I tried to get a few shots in there. Again, plus also being in a casino, not all casinos really want you to be filming in there either. That's another thing. So I gotta be respectful of that, especially being out of Ontario. You don't know I don't know what the laws are there. I don't know how strict they are there. I don't want to get myself into any trouble. So I just did very minimal filming just to give you guys a bit of an idea of what's in there. Now, they do have a hotel. I was looking up rates before we came here, maybe a couple weeks ago. The rates were pretty high, actually. The rooms even when I was logged in on my MGM account, I was still seeing room rates in the 300s a night, and that was weekdays as well. So very pricey, to be honest with you. And even a lot of the hotels in the surrounding area seem very pricey. But I get it, you're also in downtown Detroit, so that obviously plays a factor in it as well. So I know that if I was back, home, if I was looking at a hotel downtown Toronto, it'd be the same kind of situation. You're downtown, you're in a big area, hotels are gonna be expensive, but I was still a little shocked, especially being in my MGM account. You think they'd want to encourage their MGM gamblers and whatnot to stay there, but I know at the time my status was a little bit lower, so maybe in time, if my status increases, I play a little bit more, then maybe it'll help. So I didn't want to make this video too long, because again, we weren't there for that long. I didn't get to experience too much. As I said, we had lunch there, we played a little bit, we played quick hits for a little bit. The slots weren't too bad for us. Cody won a bit of money. I went up and down for a bit. I played in the same $20 or $25, something like that, for a while, back and forth, up and down. So it wasn't too bad for me. As I said, Cody won a bit, but yeah, as I said, wasn't too bad. But as I said, is the spot right for you? I would say, obviously, if you're a gambler, obviously if you like casinos, obviously especially if you like the whole MGM network, then I would say that's definitely a place for you. You're gonna enjoy it. being from Toronto and, you know, it taking me about 3.5-ish hours to get to Caesars, at least, it kind of gives me at least a home base that for me to drive 15 minutes over the border, it's really not that big of a deal. Would I drive from Toronto all that time just to MGM Grand and then drive home? That's a lot of driving in a day. So I would say probably not. I'd still probably want to stay overnight somewhere. I don't know too much about Detroit, so people who are maybe more familiar with Detroit, leave some comments below of maybe some other places that you'd recommend staying in the surrounding area, or maybe even some other things to visit and some other things to do while you're in the surrounding area, just because I said I'm not very familiar. So I do want to go back again. I would like to check it out again sometime. And, you know, it would be nice to see what else Detroit has to offer as well. So like I said, tried to keep this one relatively short for you guys. I always try to, but then I end up going on some tangent and talking way too long. So hopefully I didn't do that this time. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well. There's always new content. I try to release content weekly if possible, usually on Fridays or Saturdays or somewhere around that time. It's totally free for you guys to subscribe to my channel, and it really, really does help me out. If you've got some comments below, if you've got some questions, anything you'd like to know, if I can't answer, maybe somebody else in the whole network can, or, you know, I could look it up and let you guys know. Leave some comments below as well. Again, it really does also help with the algorithm. I'd really, really appreciate it. Once again, this has been Daniel Spotlight, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.